The Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu shutting down any possibility of a ceasefire in the fight against Hamas, saying any call to do so is a call to, quote, surrender to Hamas, surrender to terrorism, and surrender to barbarism. IDF spokesman Lieutenant Colonel Peter Lerner joins us now. So the Prime Minister yesterday pushed back against calls for a ceasefire, including from the United Nations, in an op-ed in the Wall Street Journal saying that this is everyone's war. He said, quote, I hope and pray that civilized nations everywhere will back this fight because Israel's fight is your fight. If Hamas and Iran's axis of evil win, you will be their next target. That's why Israel's victory will be your victory. Since 2007, Lieutenant Colonel, Israel's played a kind of a cat and mouse game with Hamas. Hamas will cause trouble. Israel will come in. Inevitably, it's ended in a ceasefire. I take it that that game of cat and mouse is over now.
Indeed, John, we are on the instruction of our government, we are on a mission to destroy and dismantle Hamas. They cannot ever hold the power of government of the Gaza Strip as a staging ground for terrorism and brutal massacre against the people of Israel. And to weigh on what Prime Minister Netanyahu wrote, I would say, they have utilized all of the forces of government in order to create this terrorist machine. And so when Netanyahu is saying that, he's basically saying, look very careful, this cannot be the new norm of terrorism because it may begin here, it won't end here. All of the terrorist organizations are watching.
A lot of military analysts, Lieutenant Colonel, were expecting that there was going to be a massive ground operation sweeping in to Gaza when Israel was ready. What we have seen so far since Friday night is more incremental, meticulous, was how it was described by one person in the Israeli government. What's the strategy here in the initial days of this ground operation?
Well, yeah, well, we've interviewed and I've spoken quite frequently on Fox, and you kept asking me, when is it going to happen? When is it going to happen? And I said, we're in no rush. We are strategic. We're doing things stage by stage, step by step, and strike by strike. So I would say what we've done is gradually expanded and continue to increase our activities in the air, on the ground, and at sea. We are taking the fight to them, destroying them and killing them one by one. Just one example is from earlier today is Nassim Abu Ajina from the Beit Lahia in the northern Gaza Strip, battalion commander. And yeah, he was one of those that instructed and organized the attack against Kibbutz Erez in the north and Netiv HaSara, where many people were butchered and massacred. So we are determined to dismantle and destroy their capabilities. The stages that we do it it's a very, very organized plan of action. And that is why we've said that we are expanding and increasing our activities in order to take the fight to Hamas in order to protect our people.
You have had some success in taking out Hamas leadership. Also, you took out Assam Abu Rakaba, who was responsible for the paragliders, but yet the leadership of Hamas's military wing, Mohammed Deif, Yahya Sinwar, they remain elusive. Do you have any idea where they are?
Well, they have a target on their backs for sure. We will utilize all of our abilities. And from Yahya Sinwar, the mastermind of the massacre, the man who financed it, the man who organized it, the man who gave the green light to go, and Deif, absolutely all of the people. And that is what, that is why we are moving to this paradigm change. The reality on the ground is one where Hamas will never, ever be able to have the power of government. None of these people will be able to come out of this scot-free, is to say. They need to pay a price. We are, we're going after them one by one. And this is the reality of when a terrorist organization that has become a terrorist government with a terrorist army decide to go to war with Israel. I would say they made a very dear mistake, and they basically signed their own destiny. They have no place in the realm of the existing and the living.
Lieutenant Colonel, one more quick question, if I could, of you. Israel has highlighted that Hamas's leadership is operating from what it says is an underground labyrinth beneath the Al-Shifa hospital. Daniel Hagari put together a presentation complete with computer graphics of what that probably looks like. I'm reading that as a prelude to actually going after the hospital. Am I right?
So obviously I won't talk about specifics and specific intentions or operational plans, but indeed we are extremely concerned of how Hamas has turned hospitals, many hospitals, not just the Al-Shifa hospital, into command and control positions, into place of hiding out, of where they're taking refuge, not to be made healthy. You know, hospitals are for health, but to use them to launch, stage, plan, collude in order to conduct more atrocities. So indeed, we are very, very cautious about hospitals because they are protected and they need to be protected because that's the right thing to do. But that right to protection is not 100% or not fully defended when it becomes abused by terrorist organizations. And that's on international humanitarian law. And that is the fundamentals of warfare. And when we're trying to operate within the realms of international humanitarian law and the laws of armed conflict, like our brothers and sisters in the US military, we're identifying places where this terrorist organization has decided to intentionally lay its terrorist infrastructure, intentionally utilizes and abuses the civilian arena, and intentionally conducts its attacks from these types of positions. They are jeopardizing their own people. They're jeopardizing the people that are most in despair. We're going to seek out and hunt down Hamas. We're determined to come to a new outcome, a new security reality for the people of Israel, and I'd add for the people of Gaza as well. We all deserve to live in peace.
All right, Lieutenant Colonel, thank you for joining us. We appreciate it with that update, and we'll keep watching the situation. Appreciate it.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.